Have you ever been sitting there doing nothing in particular, and suddenly a memory comes back to you from 30 or 40 years ago, so clearly that you can almost smell it? Not something you were trying to remember, just something that showed up on its own, out of nowhere. Maybe it's your parents' house. Maybe it's a place you used to work. Maybe it's a summer afternoon from 1972 that you haven't thought about in decades. But suddenly, it's right there like it happened yesterday. But somehow you can't remember where you put your glasses 20 minutes ago. They could be on your head right now, and you'd still be looking for them. Most people over 60 notice this happening more and more, and most of them quietly worry about it. They think it means something is going wrong. But what's actually going on inside your brain when this happens is a lot more interesting than you'd expect, and once you understand it, you'll probably never worry about it again. Your brain has two completely separate systems for storing memories, and they have almost nothing in common with each other. The one that handles everyday stuff like where you put your glasses, what you need from the store, what day your appointment is. That system runs on a part of your brain that peaks in your 20s and then slowly, gradually, gets a little less reliable every decade after that. That's not a disease. That's not dementia. That's just how human brains are built. Every single person on Earth experiences this. Einstein himself was famously forgetful about everyday things. The man once forgot his own home address while living in Princeton. It means nothing. But the other system, the one that stores the big stuff, the moments that actually meant something to you, the people you loved, the experiences that changed who you are, that system works completely differently. Those memories aren't just filed away like documents in a cabinet. They're fused together with emotions, with sounds, with smells, with the way the air felt on your skin that day. And that system doesn't weaken with age the way the other one does. In a lot of people, it actually gets more vivid, not less. So when a summer afternoon from 1972 feels more real to you than last week, that's not a malfunction. That's two different systems doing two different jobs. One of them fading a little with age, the way it's supposed to, and the other one holding on tighter than ever to the things that actually matter. Your brain is not confused about what's important. It knows exactly what's important. It's been keeping score your whole life. Now here's where it gets really interesting. Researchers noticed something strange when they started studying memory in older adults. They asked thousands of people over 60 to describe their most vivid, most detailed, most emotionally powerful memories. And no matter who they asked, no matter where they were from, no matter what kind of life they'd lived, the same pattern showed up every single time. The strongest memories almost always came from the same stretch of life, roughly between the ages of 10 and 30. Not early childhood, not middle age, not last year. That specific window. They call it the reminiscence bump, and it's one of the most consistent findings in all of memory research. And when you think about it for even a second, it makes perfect sense. What happens between 10 and 30? Everything that matters happens. Your first real friendship that felt like it would last forever, the first time you fell in love, and the first time you got your heart broken. The music that became yours, not your parents' music, but your music. The songs you still know every word to right now, even though you haven't heard them in years. You finished school, you started working, you figured out what you believed in and what you stood for. You got married or you didn't. You had children or you didn't. But whatever happened during those years, it was all happening for the first time. And that's the key to the whole thing. Your brain records first experiences in a completely different way than it records repeated experiences. The first time you do something, your brain lights up everywhere. It's paying maximum attention, recording every detail because it has no template for this yet. The 1,000th time you do the same kind of thing, your brain barely glances at it because it already has that file saved. That's why your wedding day is permanently etched into your memory, but your 11,000th morning getting ready for the day is gone before you even leave the house. But here's the part that really catches people off guard. The triggers, the things that send you flying back in time without any warning and without your permission. You're walking through a store, and someone walks past wearing a perfume your grandmother used to wear, and for 1/2 of 1 second, she is standing right next to you. She's right there. You can almost see her. And then she's gone, and you're standing in aisle 4 of a hardware store with your eyes stinging, and you don't even fully understand what just happened. That's not random, and it's not your imagination. Your sense of smell has a direct, unfiltered line to the exact part of your brain where emotional memories live. Every other sense, what you see, what you hear, what you touch, all of that gets processed and filtered through multiple layers of your brain before it reaches your memories. But smell skips the line entirely. It goes straight to the core, with no filter, no delay, no warning. That's why a smell can knock you flat in a way that a photograph never will. A photo reminds you. A smell puts you there. Music does something similar, but through a different door. The songs you fell in love with between 10 and 30 aren't stored as just melodies. They're stored with whatever you were feeling the first time you heard them. The joy, the heartbreak, the excitement, the loneliness, whatever it was. So when that song comes on the radio 40 years later, it doesn't just play the notes, it plays the feeling. The actual original emotion comes back like it's been sitting in a box waiting for someone to open it. And here's something that stops most people when they hear it. Researchers have worked with patients who have severe memory loss, people who cannot remember their own children's names, and when they play music from that person's reminiscence bump from years ago, those patients light up. They sing along. They tap their feet. They cry. They smile. The music reaches a part of them that the disease hasn't touched yet, and maybe never will. That's how deep these connections go. Now, a lot of people think that spending more time in the past as you get older means you're somehow stuck or declining or running out of future, so your brain is turning around to look backward. But psychologists who actually study this say the opposite is happening. What your brain is doing when it keeps returning to old memories is something called life review. And rather than being a sign of decline, it's actually one of the most sophisticated things a human brain can do. Think of it like this. You've spent 60 or 70 years collecting experiences, thousands and thousands of them. And now your brain is going back through all of it, sorting it, connecting pieces that didn't seem related at the time, finding meaning in things you didn't understand when they happened, building the full picture of who you are and how you got here. That argument you had with your father in 1979 that seemed unforgivable at the time, your brain brings it back now, and you see it completely differently. You see his side. You understand what he was going through that you were too young to see back then. That relationship that ended badly in your 20s, your brain revisits it, and you realize it taught you something you've been using ever since, without knowing where it came from. Researchers have found that older adults who actively engage in this kind of reflection, not regret, not rumination, but genuine reflection, show better emotional health, a stronger sense of purpose, and lower rates of depression than people who avoid thinking about the past. Your brain isn't trapping you in yesterday. It's using yesterday to make sense of today. And that's not a symptom of aging. That's wisdom. That's literally what wisdom is. But if you really want to know the deepest reason your brain keeps going back, it's simpler than any study or any scientific explanation. The past is where your people are. When your brain goes back to Thanksgiving 1978, it's not going back because of the turkey. It's going back because everyone was there. Your parents were still alive. Your children were small enough to pick up. Your brother, whom you haven't talked to in years, was sitting right across from you, passing the potatoes. Everyone was in one room at the same time, healthy and loud and together. And your brain knows that's never going to happen again exactly like that. The future doesn't have that. The future has uncertainty, doctor's appointments, and things you're not sure about. But the past has everyone in it, alive and young and whole, and your brain knows exactly where to find them. That's not sadness. That's love. Your brain keeps going back to those moments because they're the most valuable things you own. More valuable than your house, your savings, anything you can touch. Those memories are proof that you lived a life full of people who mattered to you and who you mattered to, and your brain protects them more fiercely than it protects anything else, because it knows that nothing it stores will ever be more important than that. So the next time your brain pulls you back to a place you haven't been in 40 years, to a kitchen that doesn't exist anymore, to a voice you haven't heard in decades, to a feeling you thought you'd forgotten, don't fight it. Don't worry about it. And definitely don't think something is wrong with you because you can remember every detail of a summer afternoon in 1969. But your glasses have been missing since breakfast. Now, if you're ever noticing memory changes that genuinely concern you, there's never any harm in mentioning it to your doctor, just to put your mind at ease. But what I've been describing today, the vivid old memories, the misplaced glasses, the songs that take you right back, that's not decline. That's a brain that has spent a lifetime collecting what matters and holding on to it with everything it has. Your brain isn't confused. Your brain knows exactly what it's doing. It's holding on to the things that made you who you are and letting go of the things that don't matter. Last week doesn't matter. Your mother's kitchen matters. Your father is coming through the door from work. The song that was playing the first time you danced with someone who changed your life matters. Your brain knows the difference. It always has. If there's a memory that keeps finding you, no matter how many years go by, I'd love to hear what it is.